rider is a little higher. Leipzig außerdem an der Innenseite führbar, Amerigo, führbar.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. I thought you were going to go with New York today.
No, well, because we're at Aqueduct today, huh?
Yeah.
Are we at Aqueduct or are we at Belmont at Aqueduct?
It's the traditional Aqueduct meet.
Oh, God, it's so hard to keep up with, dude.
Well, that's why I always refer to as Aqueduct, because it's still an Aqueduct racetrack. It's just record keeping because it's the Belmont meet there.
All right, I got to pull this up, Joe. I'm very unprepared this morning here, so let me go to my
That is perfectly fine.
DRF.
And let me pull up my program because I took advantage of the free program that Naira gives you.
Okay.
Or gives me.
Uh-huh.
Basically, you just sign up with Equibase. They send you a link, and you can just use that link every day.
And who is that with?
It's with Equibase, but you have to go through the Naira website.
Okay. So here we go. We got Aqueduct up. Now let me pull up our favorite horse racing sportsbook here, which is FanDuel. FanDuel horse racing here. Of course, we'll need to verify my location.
And I know the first thing you're going to say when you pull up the FanDuel site.
What am I going to say?
Why did you pick Aqueduct over Churchill?
Oh, why are the free bets at Churchill today?
Yeah, but it's also raining there, so.
Ah, okay.
But we kind of get away with that, but we got 3 stakes races at Aqueduct, but we only have 2 at Churchill today.
All right, so Aqueduct. Where are we starting? Race 5?
We're going to start at race 5.
Race 5.
But before we do that,
turfs. Go ahead.
Before we do that, can we do some somewhat breaking news?
Yeah. Hang on. I got that somewhere. I set this stuff up so that it was all right.
Well, I didn't think it deserved that much fanfare, but we'll go with it. I enjoyed it. So we do with this time of the year, we do have horses that are going off to the breeding shed, and we hear about horses that are coming back for the following year. Horses that are being sent off to the breeding shed. Back-to-back Preakness winners, National Treasure and Seize the Gray, are both being retired. So they're going to be banging a bunch of mares.
I do have a quote from Seize the Gray right here.
Yeah!
And that was him finishing. And Seize the Gray, which is owned by My Racehorse. So that stud fee will be distributed among everybody who wants a share in them, a micro share. And then on the other side of the fence, those that are returning for 2025, Breeders' Cup champion Sierra Leone, turf specialist Carl Spackler. There was another name here in this article that I didn't print the article up, but so you will have some familiar names also returning next year.
How about Uncle Ernie? Is he returning?
I have no idea. I mean, he had that one workout and that was it. So You know, maybe he winters in Florida and just if he runs as a 7-year-old, does he winter there and then come back up here when it's time to race?
Yeah,
I don't know.
how old can these horses race until? What are they? How long do these horses live?
Uh, they live till sometimes mid-20s.
Okay.
Every once in a while you get a horse that hits 30, which is like us hitting 100.
Mid-20s is a good that's a good
Yeah.
I mean, it's all downhill after you get past your mid to late 20s, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, so we haven't seen Ernie on the work tab since September 30th.
Hmm. I don't know. What could they be saving him for? What
The glue
about the
factory.
what? Yeah, possibly. I don't know, but no, I mean, hey, look, it costs money every day. That costs this guy money every day. Ernie's not running,
Mm-hmm.
so this seems very unusual. Knowing the owner that Ernie's sitting there on the sidelines right now.
If he's still in the barn and not on the farm somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been in touch with the guy.
Gil.
He may not even, yeah, Gil. He may not even remember that he has Ernie anymore at this point. He's a good old guy, but his
Yeah.
best days are behind him. Maybe Ernie's the same way.
Yeah. Because he is, I mean, 6-year-old is old for the horse racing. Even though you do occasionally see a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old horse, it's rare.
You know what else is rare, at least lately, is
Me
that
picking winners.
my Wrexham, they played
Mhm.
and they won. They played early, the 7:30 this morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, what ungodly time, 7:30 a.m. But yeah, they squeaked out a thriller 1-0 this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw they lost in the FA Cup, which is not surprising because sometimes these clubs that are lower level,
Mm.
they play a team that is disinterested in playing in a tournament like this, and those results happen.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it all out. But Tuesday night on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, 6 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
kicking it back with Matt shifts to its own show, its own time.
Nice.
And I'll ride shotgun with Matt for a little while, really, because there's so much I need to learn, and there's so much that there's so many complaints I have about soccer right now, also that I've been complaining to Matt, and he says, "Well, let's complain on the show, and we'll talk everyone through it." But yeah, I got my official Wrexham, and I got to tell you, man, this is a nice sweatshirt, bro, because it's heavy, it's warm. This is like a Northeast sweatshirt. You can't get those down here. All you get one is they're paper thin down here in Florida.
Yeah.
Nobody wears sweatshirts down here other than me and bank robbers, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I love my Wrexham sweatshirt. So they were victorious. We had a huge night. Bleacher Bet had a huge night in the NBA last night. I mean, it was just winner after winner after winner after winner. There was only one game. Let me give it out here real fast, if you don't mind. There was
I don't
only
mind.
one NBA game that I liked tonight, and this might be a surprise to people that I would say this, but there was a big game last night. Yeah, Golden State, who is just lighting everybody up. They beat Boston in Boston a couple days ago, and they went into Cleveland, who some people are saying Cleveland is the surprise team this year. I don't really think that they're a surprise team. They were a pretty good team last year, but Cleveland 10-0. So it was Cleveland. They were 9-0 last night against Golden State, and they just trashed Golden State last night. I kind of saw that coming a mile away because Golden State's been on the road for a little while. They came east. They really made a statement against Boston that, hey, we're for real. So you got to come down. There's no way you can keep up that intensity from city to city on the road. And I figured Cleveland would want to make a statement last night and blow Golden State out of the building, and that's what happened. That being said, Cleveland comes right back tonight and plays the Brooklyn Nets. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland loses the game, because they had a big game last night, and you're coming right back the next night. There's going to be letdown. This is the Nets. It's not Golden State. But the Nets are not as bad as people may think that they are. And the spread is 13. So I'm taking the Nets tonight plus 13 in Cleveland as my NBA pick of the day that I'll give out for free. And I just did.
Okay. Yeah, I gave a couple of picks out on Thursday. I even gave out a pick in your chat on your show. I gave you a college basketball pick that one.
Did you? What was it? Was it Rutgers?
It was Ryder over San Diego.
Ryder over San Diego. I don't think I saw it. I apologize. My producers, and I had two of them that night. They don't do a very good job keeping an eye on the chat for me.
Yeah, because basically I used a horse racing angle there because Ryder was on the West Coast starting the season, collecting some money from UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, they're playing San Diego. This is a drop in class. You know, you go from the grade 1 race and you drop down into a lounge race. Got some major back class here. Boom, pulled off the upset.
You know, and that's a great way to look at it because there's a fine line between overanalyzing and underanalyzing any sort of sports picks or betting as far as I go. So analyzing is the fine line that you want to hit there in the middle where, you know, sometimes for me, I can just look and I say, oh my God, yeah, that's a given. Like there are certain things that I do week after week after week after week after week that I don't really have to think very much about because I know how these teams, I know the pattern. I know how these teams perform. I mean, unfortunately, one of them is the FAU football team. I know that constantly they show no signs of being anywhere close to winning a game or even being in a game. So I on the Bleacher Brothers show the other night, gave out ECU is an absolute lock, and ECU destroyed them. I mean, the game was over 13 seconds into the game. Army's been another one until last week when the quarterback got scratched minutes before the game, and they still almost covered. But there's something's going on with this Army game right now today. And I can't confidently tell you Army yet today because the spread went from 3.5 down to 2.5, up to 6.5. My lock that I was really betting on was the over in this game, but now the line is locked. So I don't know. And all of this is the number is going a little bit crazy here this morning on this Army game. But a team that, believe it or not, Joe, in college football that's flying under the radar somehow are the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah.
They, all the hype last year, and then they hit the wall. They're not hitting a wall this year. They're a good team, and they're -4 today at Texas Tech. I like Colorado. I also like Miami today. Miami reminds me of Rob Nen. You remember Rob Nen? Used to be a closer. Closed for the 97 Marlins. And it didn't make a difference if you brought him in the 9th inning and it was 3-2 or it was 30-2. He would make sure that the bases were loaded and the winning run was on third base, or the tying run was on third base before he'd save the game. That's kind of what UM has been doing with their spreads. They'll go way, way, way down and then come back and cover the game, and they'll take 2 quarters off. But I like UM against Georgia Tech today. The line's at 9.5 right now. It did start at 10.5. And then there was one other one that Notre Dame. I don't get this line. Notre Dame is, and I'm pretty sure they're at home. Let me find it. But they're playing Florida State. And the line is only 25.5 points.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my picks on my Thursday show.
No, to take Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the weird thing is that apparently Vegas thinks that Florida State may not score at all because the line is 25.5, but the over-under's only at 43. So yeah, I love Notre Dame in this game also. But that's all I'm giving out for free. If you want the rest of my picks, send a check or no checks. Just send a money order in a self-addressed stamped envelope to AJ at PO Box 1111, Camden, New Jersey. And whenever I get back up to Camden, New Jersey, I'll check it and then I'll send you some picks. All right.
And I'll give one pick here.
Good.
You know the dreaded vote of confidence.
You're not talking about Kamala Harris.
No,
Okay. No, who are you talking? What are you talking about?
the Florida head coach got one this week from the athletic director or the administration.
Was that before or after he got accused of molesting children
That's the
or
basketball
students?
coach.
Oh, that's.
That was
Oh,
basketball.
are you talking about football? You're still on football. Okay.
Yeah, football.
Okay. Got it.
Take Texas minus 21.5. I just locked it in on rebet. Texas is going to blow them out by about 40.
You think so? All right, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to lock it in right now. I wasn't going to do that. Here's what I'm going to do though on that. Well, can I parlay it with some other things here? Make it a big winner.
Or after last week's picks that I had, you may want to fade it.
So look, the Miami game just went from 9.5 to 10 as we speak here. I'm going to take it because you gave it to me. What about Ohio State minus 37.5 against Purdue?
Purdue is crap.
37.5 is a lot of points, though. Let me scroll back down to Army here real quick, and then let's look at some horse racing. Yeah, if you want our picks, it's real simple. We do give them away for free, but you got to join Rebet. So go to Rebet, use code Bleachers, all capitalized, and Rebet will give you, if you use our code, a 100% deposit match up to $100. And then all you need to do is follow us. It's really cool. It's a social network with sports betting on it. So you can follow us. You can follow your friends. You can bet head to head against your friends. You follow us and you see picks that we're liking. You can one button, boom, and rebet it yourself. Rebet's quickly becoming one of our favorite sports books for these things. So that's our way of getting you our picks. And a lot of our picks happen in real time. We will bet live, and we do a lot of winning when we're betting live during the games. And the only way you're going to get that action is if you're following us on Rebet. You can literally set up notifications so that anytime we make a move, boom, it's going to notify you and you can follow us. And don't ask me how, but somehow we're really damn good at this. Really damn good. Well, so is Toby. But I didn't look yet this morning at my number on Rebet, because the other cool thing with Rebet is that besides it kicks me out every time something with my iPhone is going crazy here. But let me log in real fast. It tracks the winners, and we've only been on Rebet since the very beginning of September. And Bleacher Bet right now has got 397 wins locked in.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's amazing is I bet you Toby's got even more. Let me see if I can find Toby real fast. Stephen Luker. I see Stephen Luker with some winning action on here. He's got the UCLA Bruins over the Iowa Hawkeyes. Toby's got 419 wins in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's 800 wins between the two of us.
And I have a whopping 23.
23.
But then again, I don't use it that much. Life gets in the way.
No, I got you. Yeah, sometimes it's been hard lately. It's been hard to get our picks out. It's been hard to get the action in. I missed last night. I missed a $13,000 parlay by a half a point.
Ooh.
And it was on a basketball game that I did not do my due diligence and go look at this thing. I just took some doofus's word that UCF was a monster. And Anyway, I lost by 0.5 point, and everything else that I had on it came through. So it's kind of, I'm trying to find the stupid thing right now. It's hard to find the losing one in here because I got so many winners.
Well, you don't have to go far from mine.
Let me see. All right, well, let's get the horse racing, man, because it's 10:20 already, and we haven't even.
Yeah.
I
Well,
haven't even put an eyeball on this yet.
Thankfully, we're only looking at 3 races today. We're going to look at the 3 stakes races, and they all end up on the turf today. We're going to look at races 5, 8, and 9. The scratches are in. The scratches and changes, so we will get to them as we go along here. Let me just clear a couple of windows here, or a couple of tabs. So we're going to begin with race 5 because that's usually what comes up after race 4. And this one is the it's the Hill Prince Stakes. They are going 1.1 miles on the outer turf because they have 2 turf courses. The outer turf is what used to be that inner dirt surface. Got 7 horses here. Favorite is Deterministic, who just missed going longer in the Jockey Club Derby Invitational. You got Royal Majesty, who just missed in the Giaponti going a mile. You got Cugino, who threw in a clunker at Kentucky Downs, but who doesn't at that course? And who do you like here?
Well, here's my question: is why is Bartlett in this race?
That's exactly what I was saying.
I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't make any. Has he ever run on the turf? No. And Bartlett is a really good horse with some really good numbers, who wins quite often. I mean, he's only raced 6 times in his life, but he's found the winner's circle 4 times. He's won at a 75% clip this year. Does that make you wonder? What do they know that we don't know?
Yeah, and this is why I wish this was the DRF race of the day, because I could dig in and see the sire stats for Not This Time for his offspring. But on the female side, on the dam side, the sire of the dam is Smarty Jones. We know what Smarty Jones did, even though he never raced. Even though he never raced on the turf, obviously, his horses do tend to run well on the turf as well.
I like going based on turf. I like Royal Majesty, but why is Bart? It's not like he's been off, and they're bringing him back and running him just to warm him up a little bit. You know, I'm gonna make a small investment on Bartlett. That's gonna be my pick in this race.
Okay.
Because there's got to be a reason that they put him on here, and I don't think it's to lose.
Yeah, and I'm pulling something up as we speak here, and where I'm going here is I am trying to beat the favorite here. I'm trying to beat Deterministic here, as I'm pulling up information for the sire. Not This Time. Actually, I don't even need to do that. But I'm going with Cugino here. Bad race at Kentucky Downs. So many horses have bad races down there, so I wouldn't worry about that. That horse, they had a common opponent, them and the favorite, common horse opponent in Carson's Run, who won in October. I'm hoping that if Cugino is back in form, I think that if Carson Run can beat him, the favorite here, I'm hoping Cugino can do the same as well here. So I'm just pulling up the numbers here on Bartlett here. Not This Time. Well, not that this may be why he's going here, and I'm digging through a couple different sites here. Um, Not this time. Does his offspring do win 17% of the time on the turf?
Okay.
So they may be thinking, okay, well, let's try it on the turf here. It's a $200,000 race. It's a short field. We can see what this horse does on the turf. I mean, this is the time probably you do it because a lot of the best turf horses just ran last week in the Breeders' Cup. So why not take a shot here and see if you can get a graded stakes victory on a
Well,
horse on the turf?
to get an 8-1 morning line here on a horse that ran back-to-back 93s, 94s in his last 2 races, I'll take it.
Yeah, but it is on the dirt, so
Yeah, but still, they're
yeah.
you know, where are my other where are my 90s here? Even on the turf, Congino ran a 90. That's it. So I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna. Look, this is a tight race with the 2, the 3, the 5. I don't know. Anybody could win this race.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a wide open race for 7 horses.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the who's gonna pay me the most, and the horse that I like the best. So I'm locking in Bartlett.
Okay. Yeah, and I helped you there with some notes there because sometimes you can, if you really dig, you can find some additional information like I was using Twin Spires there to dig some additional stats there for you. So
Okay.
that's where I got that 17% stat from.
Look
So
at 17% winners on the turf. I mean, yeah, that sounds great, but that would be a huge step down since he's already winning at 75%. But
yeah. Now
let's
yeah,
see what happens.
yeah, and if it was 17% winners and it was only 12 races, I would say, well, we need to see more of a sample size here.
Mm-hmm.
Horses win about the offspring percentage is around 12-13% on the turf.
Okay.
That's above average. So 17% is a great average, and then on top of that, you have Bartlett who has had his offspring run 809 times on the turf. So I think that's a good enough sample size.
Yeah, that's a lot of races.
Yeah, and who knows how many offspring he has too that made it to the races as well.
That's how many races Uncle Ernie has, right? 809 in 2023. I think Gil
That's
ran
what,
him. Gil ran him like 4 times a day.
yeah, probably is.
Where are we going? 6 or 7 next?
We're going to race 8.
Race 8. Okay.
Yeah, race 8 is the second stakes race here, and I need to find it here.
You love
It
picking
is.
these turf races, don't you?
Hey, they card these races. I mean, if there was a race on the dirt, we would go with it. Race 8 is the Aqueduct Turf Sprint Championship. They're going 6 furlongs on the dirt. One thing I failed to mention here is the rail is out 24 feet on the outer turf. So
So what does that mean?
there's less real estate from left to right to run. So I don't know if they're protecting the turf for the last couple of weeks of the turf season, or it's just so chewed up that they move the rail out, because you can move the rail out all up and down. And basically, if you're a horse that's further back, it's harder to close,
Well, you got to run
especially on the
single
turf.
file now, right? Then they got to come single file down the stretch, one at a time.
No,
There's
there's
no
still enough
room.
room.
Oh, okay.
There's still
All
room.
right.
It's just not as much room, and the turns are a little tighter as well.
Okay.
There's a little less real estate side to side for you.
All right. I understand. I got it.
So we do have uh, 12 horses entered. We do have 2 scratches here. The 8 Grooms All Business is scratched, and Sheriff Bianco, the 12, was scratched. So we're down to 10 here. We have a bit of a local horse here in Allegan, local to Philly, ran at Parks numerous times. He's in there at 9-2. Um, well, Sheriff Bianco is also an also eligible. That was scratch. Works for Me is an also eligible that's running today. Um, Implementation did win at Kentucky Downs. Um, he won in September, I believe. Let me pull that back up here because I got too many tabs here. Um, Implementation did win, and the one thing is, I see this as a good sign that they want to run him in this race because most of his races have been on the dirt, but he wins an allowance race. He won an allowance race last year at Kentucky Downs. Then they put him back on the dirt. They're keeping him on the turf here. Senbei is favored here. Won the turf sprint there. Closed to win that race here. So those are the three main horses that I'm looking at here. What do you think about this race here?
I like Implementation. I also tell me why I shouldn't like Son of a Birch.
Because you don't want to hear the track announcer call him a son of a bitch.
No, that makes it all the more fun. Some bitch. I again, I'm going for the payout. So I'm gonna box 7-1-1-7,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna do a straight trifecta 7-1-3.
Mm.
And my reasoning behind that is because that's just the trifecta I've always played.
Mhm.
And it's never hit for me. But there was a day at the track where I was losing all day long, very decades ago. And I left before the end. And usually if I leave before the end, I would just bet all my, my tries and cash tickets the next day. I didn't bet it and it came out huge.
Mm.
I remember my buddy calling, saying, "Oh my God, you hit it!" And I said, "No, I didn't play it." So it's got to come out eventually for me. So if I really like the one and I like the 7, why not throw the 3 in? And maybe I can catch. Maybe some of my basketball good jujus will come over here into horse racing today.
And by the way, Tom did hit a superfecta when he was not a superfecta. He hit a trifecta when he was out there at Del Mar last weekend.
Yeah, wasn't it the last race of the day? I think he said.
Yeah, he hit for 15.
Yeah, good for 1,500 or 15,000 because I couldn't get a straight answer out of him.
He told me 1,500.
Okay, all right, that sounds about right. I just think that he was a little confused and didn't know what the heck he was hitting on.
Or maybe he's lying and it is 15K.
Tom is money bags right now, so it's all chump change to him.
Yeah, but yeah, you're saying about these races where you play ahead and you go home.
Mm-hmm.
Many years ago, I would say at least 20 years ago, back when Sportsman's Park was still around.
Sportsman's Park, I remember it. Where was that place?
It was Chicago.
Okay, I remember the name.
And back in the day, it used to be that Hawthorne was on one side of the street and Sportsman's was on the other.
Wow.
And one would run thoroughbred and one would run harness, and then they would switch the off. But Sportsman was a quirky 7 furlong track because it used to be a half-mile track. They extended it to 7. I played a double that night. One night, I think it was on Labor Day. I hit a double, blind, harness. And I didn't notice it until the next day because back when PhoneBet TV had their simulcast program that they had, they would show the results, just the numbers and the results and what the payouts would be for each race. I look at my ticket, I look at the screen, look at this ticket, look at the screen. I hit a $400 double. Don't even know how I hit it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's but the whole story you just told. Why, if one track was on one side of the street and the other track's on the other side of the street. Why do they have to flip flop? Why don't they just the harness track stay the harness track and the thoroughbred track stay the thoroughbred track? Because it just seems like a lot of work.
It's the way they did things in Chicago. But it's kind of like Meadowlands and Garden State when they were around.
Yeah, but they weren't right across the street from one another.
Yeah.
I mean, I get Meadowlands because it's even though it's in Jersey, it's New York.
Yeah.
And Garden State. I mean, what used to be Philadelphia Park? Was that Parks? Did that used to be Philadelphia Park? Okay.
Yeah, that was just a name change.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
about 2 miles away from Parks was Liberty Bell.
Then that's gone, right?
That's now Philadelphia Mills Mall.
Okay. And Garden State Park is Cherry Hill Mall right now, right?
It's not the Cherry Hill Mall, but it's a shopping center and apartment complex and other things as well.
Yeah, I believe there's I forget if it's a Lowe's or a Best Buy. And then there's one of those health food supermarket things, and there's it's always Christmas store where Garden State Park used to be. Yeah, I had a house there a few years ago when we spent a lot of time in Philly, and I had to get the hell out of Philly. We went over
Don't
there
blame
to
you.
Haddonfield, which is a beautiful town. I love Haddonfield.
Yeah.
And I believe that's where Bryce Harper lives now, is in Haddonfield. So I moved out and he moved in. He bought my house.
Well, he said, that AJ, man, I don't know much. I don't know about him, but, I do like this house. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to have the kids come over to the house and, talk to kids into getting prom dates and stuff like that and go from there. Because he did do that this year.
I remember that he did that. Bryce Harper's a good dude. I like Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
He seems like a good dude. Anyway, I don't know him personally, but I like to root for him.
Yeah. And then we get to our third race here. And this race has some special significance to yours truly. The Red Smith.
Okay. All right, I'm there. Race 9, right?
And this race, I looked it up last night. This was the very first race that I handicapped on Bleacher Brothers.
Really?
And it was the first of many great losses by yours truly. And one of those many races where I lost by that much.
But buddy, it all evens out. That's why Tom is winning all this money right now. Is he spent the last 4 decades as a loser, and now it's just got to even out. And because all Toby and I have been doing lately is win, 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 win. You have to. You might be picking up the losses right now, but it'll even out where you're doing nothing but winning. And I'm anxious to see who you like in this race because there's some heavy hitters in this race.
Yeah. And we have 9 horses here. All 9 are in from what I see here. I am going to take limited liability here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think him going for the lead there, the Nashville Gold Cup at Kentucky Downs, going 2 miles in the 16th. I just think that everybody was like, well, we'll just make one move. And he was like, see you later. He's not necessarily a horse that goes for the lead, and he likes these longer races. Why not take a shot on him?
Yeah, I like him. Why can he beat the 2? I mean, the 2 looks like a pretty solid horse here, with some big time numbers.
Yeah,
It's always close.
I want to see if this horse can go longer than a mile and an eighth. He ran in that mile and a quarter Arlington Million. He he came up short in that race, and then he tired in that race at Kentucky Downs. And maybe that Kentucky Downs race is just because how quirky that track is. Maybe he proves us wrong. But I want to try to beat the favorite here.
All right, I like it. I mean, before you gave me your opinion on this, limited liability was the horse I was looking at.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, hopefully it's not a jinx. You know, me jinxing you, you jinxing me, whoever jinxing the other person. I told you about that whole jinx thing many a times.
And we got no. I'm not. I don't have the jinx thing going on right now. As far as look, I didn't pick anything right last week, but I was leaving that for you and Defo, and I was just coming out with some crazy stuff last week.
Yeah.
On the Breeders' Cup, I was just trying to beat all the favorites. Freaking Anna. What's going to happen with Anna now?
She's running next year.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna take limited liability here. None of these are every 2 seconds. What do we got to verify your location here? And we got 5-1, which I like 5-1. I mean, I like 8-1 better or 9-1, but I'm just gonna go straight win. While they verify my location. Location not verified. And now it is. Like I'm on a jet 30,000 feet in the air flying all over the place. Like 1 second they can catch me and the next second they can't.
Yeah. Gotta love Handle. Well,
Yeah.
one thing I found that I've been able to do to trick them a little bit is just hitting refresh or reload.
Okay.
Yeah, that keeps you from getting logged out.
Yeah, I find myself logging out and then logging back in.
Yeah.
To reset it, but that time it reset itself. Oh. So what do you think about how much this has changed though? When you go back to say the early 90s when I started discovering this, you had to be at the track or else you had to phone a friend who was at the track, or you really had to wait. I think there was a phone number. Wasn't there a phone number you could call back in the day to get race results? Yes, there was, right?
Yeah.
So a track like Monmouth, you could call the number, or you'd have to wait for the newspaper to come out the next day if you weren't there. Meadowlands at least had a TV show on it about midnight where they would replay the races, but then you'd have to sit there because this is back in the 90s before you could fast forward or on demand or anything like that. Now you don't have to go anywhere. All you need is a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to call the number. You can watch the races on the phone. You can place the wagers on the phone. And even simulcasting was, back then, you were lucky if you had a couple of tracks on a simulcast. Now it's like tracks all over the world, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we were sitting here Monday night. We watched the Melbourne Cup from Australia.
Wow. Did you have action on it? Did you handicap it?
I didn't handicap. I did a blind wager on a horse.
How'd you do?
I don't know where it finished.
Okay.
It didn't win, but
it hasn't finished yet?
Well, the one thing is, the United States were spoiled, and I'm starting to see it in some countries in Europe where they have the colored saddle tails that we have here in North America.
Okay.
If you don't know what your jockey's colors are, you're screwed because they all use the same colored saddle tail.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's got to be confusing as hell.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you have 24 horses and they're in a pack of 18.
Yeah. Yeah, that's difficult. Why are they why are they being so difficult?
Just the way they do things down there versus us.
Well,
But
they do
yeah,
stuff stupid.
yeah. But some of the tracks in Europe, they do have the colored saddle tails. Some of them are in our colors. Some of them they have their own color scheme, but they do have the some of them are having them. I was watching some videos to prepare for the Breeders' Cup for those international races, and those international horses, some of them did have it.
How did you feel about your sidecasts and then Tom and Frank coming in live from? It really was mostly Tom and very little Frank,
Yeah,
but
oh,
but
it was great. They were bringing people in, and we had some informative information here because there were actually two handicapping contests going on. You had the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, which is a live wager event, live money event. You know, you pay X amount of money to get in, and I think it was 2,500 to the pot, 7,500 you play with, and whoever has the most money wins. Whereas there was also a second one. I forget who it was, but it was what's called a pick and pray, I believe.
isn't that what you always do? Is pick and pray? That's what I do.
Yeah, but what
We
that
should
means is,
we should pray first over the picks that we have the knowledge
yeah,
and the wisdom and the
yeah.
that we can see. That's what we need to pray for, not pray for afterwards.
Well, the way pick and pray works is you got to put in all your picks in before the first race of that contest.
Of the card of like the whole day.
Yeah. So let's
Okay.
say the pick and pray were the 9 Breeders' Cup races on Saturday.
Okay.
You got to put in your 9 picks before
Race
that
one.
first race starts. Mhm.
Okay.
So you had to have them in before race 4.
All right. But that's. I mean, I don't know. Is that really that difficult to do?
Well, in some regards, yeah, because sometimes you don't really know how a track, how the main track is playing, that sort of thing. Some people believe in biases and stuff like that. So
Well, you're more deep. You're more experienced than the average track goer.
yeah,
My problem would be if I had to pick and pray. What am I going to do for 25 to 35 minutes in between races for the entire day that I'm there when I'm not handicapping? Because I
mm,
did all my handicapping ahead of time.
yeah.
Or is that the prayer time? Do they set up a prayer room? Do you go and you pray? It's like 2 minutes you watch the race and you go back and pray. 2 minutes you watch the race, go back and pray.
If you want to. I mean, there isn't a prayer room, but I know a good room at Parks where you can do that.
Hmm. I when the few times I've been to parks, after the first time I went and then I went back a second time, I prayed the whole way there. I was like, please don't let me get killed or please don't let something bad happen to me.
Oh, so you went through North Philly.
Yeah, I guess I did, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Your Eagles
Mm-hmm.
are playing the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
This is another line that I'm not understanding. Why is it only 7 points? Shouldn't this be like a
Um,
17-point game?
I think they're giving some credit to Cooper Rush. Um, you know what? I do not like this game on Sunday. I think it's going to be a very uncomfortable game. A game where you want to blow out Dallas by 20 to 30 and sit Jalen Hurts and all the starters for Thursday night's game. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I wouldn't even be surprised if Dallas wins this game somehow. But
Really?
I think it's going to be an ugly 1 to 3 point Eagles win.
Hmm. All right.
But then again, it may be a 40-point blowout.
Yeah, I'm thinking a blowout. I am. I mean, look, NFL is not my specialty, so I'm not gonna pretend that it is. I'm more college football, basketball. Um, But yeah, I see this as a blowout. But there is an NFL upset that I really like this weekend. I
Mhm.
like Denver.
A lot of people are hopping on them.
I like Denver to cover, but I like Denver to win the game outright.
Yeah.
Kansas
Yeah,
City
people are
can't
saying that.
they can't win every game. And every team has highs and lows. Kansas City needs to get rid of their lows right now before it gets late because you don't want to go into the postseason
Yeah.
on a low. Now,
Yeah.
Good.
And everybody's loving Baltimore. Their defense is not good.
Yeah, I'm not. Who's Baltimore playing? I don't remember off the top of my
They
head, but
they won Thursday night
oh,
against
they won
Cincinnati.
Thursday night against Cincinnati. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Burrow had a monster game.
Yep.
Let me pull this up real fast. Now, I would also, if you're following these things, and if you get action on any of this, I would forget about everything that you've seen up to this point this season with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Because they're about to turn it on. This is still, even though everything that you saw, they had a lot of people hurt, a lot of people out.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy gets overlooked so much. But if you go look at his stats, he's having a really good year, and he's had none of his pieces. He has not had everything put together yet. Kittle was out, Debo is out, Ayuk is out for the season now. McCaffrey hasn't played at all yet.
Yeah.
You put all these pieces together, and the way to really tell how good Purdy's going is everyone seems to think, I don't know, I guess they're stuck in the 80s with Jerry Rice and what was his name, John Taylor?
Yeah.
All right, where these guys would, run a 5-yard slant, catch the ball, and then break an 80-yard touchdown run. Everybody thinks that's what's going on with the Niners, but it's not. They have the least amount of rack yards of any team. So this is Purdy throwing the ball downfield and connecting and connecting and connecting. So I'm looking at the Niners lighting up Tampa Bay and just steamrolling from here on out.
Yeah. That may be what happens here. Now, I took Tampa Bay on Thursday night, and my thinking was, even though they're coming off a bye, maybe they're looking ahead to Seattle. Even though Seattle is going in the toilet, that is a rivalry game. I also I have Carolina plus 6.5.
Oh, that's so scary. Against the Giants?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is like both of these. Can this game end 0-0?
Hey, if that does, it's a winner for me.
Yeah.
I told you about the Cowboys, and I also got the Rams -1. I do not understand how that's a 1-point spread. Miami cannot score.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think I played that in a parlay somewhere. The Rams, but sometimes, and then again, this is the analyzing, under analyzing, or over analyzing. It's like, what are we missing? How can this be? What'd you say? It's 1 point right now.
It was 1 point on Thursday. On Rebet right now. Let's see.
I don't know why we do this, Joe. When we literally have on Bleacher Brothers
1.5.
We got the odds board right there on Bleacher Brothers, where we can see the odds on like all the different sports books. I don't know why I don't say, hey, why don't we go look at?
I was using the Rebet app.
The Rebet app. And that's Monday night. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. FanDuel's got it at 1.5, but everybody else has it at 1. And so why not? Let me pull up this Army game real fast here on Bleacher Brothers and check the odds on it here real quick. Because I need to know Let me look at the headlines here. Is there something here on the headlines that came out? What's going on with this game? No, there's not. All right. So, and where do you do this? You go to BleacherBrothers.com and just go to betting, go to odds, and then you get your odds for all the major sports. You got NFL, MLB, NBA, men's basketball, men's football in college. You got EPL. You got soccer all over the world. You got MLS. And anyway, what am I looking for? I'm looking for football, right? NCAA football and Navy. That's a game I don't. Navy's -4 now against South Florida. I don't. That's a hard one to pick. Where the hell are you?
Yeah.
Army. I'm not seeing Army. Where the hell are you? They played 3. Here it is, right here. Army -6. Yeah, something happened this morning. Why am I not seeing the totals on here? I gotta figure out how to work this thing. Yeah.
Over under. Over under is. Let me find it here.
I pulled it up on the board here. I had to flip a switch.
65.5.
65.5. So what the heck happened to move the line so much this morning and move the over-under up? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's the Army quarterback. But I was told all week long by my Army insider that, it's just a given. He was just sick last week, and he's back this week. So, 6. Wait, what was it? What's the number? 60 what?
65.5. Or
Yeah,
65.5.
Yeah, I'm looking at 65.5 all over the place. A couple of books have it at 66.
Yeah.
Caesars and DraftKings have it at 66. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be the first week where I can't say for certain. Take Army. And that number was lower early this morning. I think it was 62.5, which I kind of liked.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Bet365 in Pennsylvania, they have the over-under at 65. And then you have other books at 65.5 and also at 66.
Well, we're not being very clear on what to do with this Army game, but we gave you a bunch of winners throughout the show here. So, and I'll give you a good little 3-bet parlay if you want to do it.
Okay.
We're going to take your Longhorns, right? Did you give us that?
Yes.
All right, -21.5. Take University of Miami -10, although they will scare the crap out of you through the entire game, but you'll cover. And then take Coach Prime -4.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to go right there, boom, and put that sucker in right now. Done.
And I am going to tell you on that.
And I don't know if I get some info on Army, I got to call our guy Dan, find out what the hell happened this morning. If I get some good info, I'll throw it out on IG or Twitter. So follow us. Joe, you can be seen just about every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9:00 on. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Fantastico, and coming incredibly soon. I don't blame you if you don't want to look at us. You can tune into the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network radio network. You can download the app and take us with you wherever you go, and you don't have to actually see us, but you can hear us and get all the good info.
Yeah.
So
great if you're in your car.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great if you're in your car, if you're in the gym, if you're anywhere. You can take us. You can take us with you. You can take us to the prayer room at the track in Chicago. There.
Yep.
Joe, have a fantastic weekend. Anything else before we dip out of here?
Just check out my show Monday through Thursday at 9:00.
Absolutely. And check out all the shows on Bleacher Brothers all week long. So I guess until next week, adios. I don't know. What do you say at the track? You break a leg. You don't say break a leg. That's for sure. See you in the winner circle.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
See you in the winner circle.
A little trip